What is going on, everybody? Welcome to this new moon solar eclipse in Libra with the South Node, of course. It's October 2nd, 2024, and we're doing sun sign horoscopes this morning. Appreciate everybody for watching. I appreciate all the new people who joined. I appreciate the people who have been here for years. I appreciate you all very much. Super grateful, as we're in a solar eclipse in Libra, the sign of relationships. I can honestly say that one of my favorite relationships in my life is my relationship with the audience on this channel, and I appreciate you. So we'll see where that builds for this channel, but I appreciate you all. Well, we're going to look at the sun sign horoscopes today, and we're going to go through all 12 signs and break it down. So let's do it. Get over here. Let's pull up Aries. First sign of the zodiac. What up, James? What up, Bridget? Good morning, guys. All right, Aries. Well, for you, it's always a little bit similar to the horoscope that we put out for these new moons, full moons, and eclipses. You kind of uphold that collective energy in many ways. So it's in your 7th house. It's with Black Moon Lilith. Mercury just passing the sun. So a lot of this is about, of course, relationships in your life, Aries. This is about definitely releasing old patterns. The South Node needs to move energy around. It needs to disperse it. It needs to kind of get rid of stuck energy so that it can function properly. And when it comes to relationships, you're at a point here over these next 6 months and these eclipses where you need to stop doing the same things over and over again with relationships that aren't actually balanced, whether it's you're overpowering in a relationship or whether you're getting walked on or overpowered in a relationship. There's certain traits and cycles that are keeping you from balance, and you need to be very focused on yourself and not point the finger at partners or friends or jobs or whatever external event in your life that you might think or want to put some blame on or fault on to why your life isn't in the aligned place that you might desire it be. This is a good self-look through the reflection that you get out of others so that you can do the work, so that you can heal with Chiron in your first and the North Node in your first, and really charge forward here. So I think that for you, it's a big deal. And I do think you're gonna see a lot of changes in the way that you're relating and in your relationships in life. And it's good because this is growth. And it's about identifying the growth, identifying who you are, what you need, identifying your emotions with Mars, your ruling planet, in Cancer in the 4th house, and squaring this energy, squaring Mercury. Like the thing you don't want to do is get too fired up and emotionally triggered by others right now and then, kind of force blame or manipulate, situations to try and, get what you want, especially with Venus in your 8th house and in Scorpio. It's not about overpowering people, or it's not about feeling, secure in some kind of a power role. It's about a much more internalized spiritual empowerment of who you are and what you need to do to keep moving forward, and to not let something that something else is doing take your power away, but to really feel at home in yourself and make good decisions. And that's Saturn in this grand trine too in your 12th house, is you have to make some really good emotional decisions, really good spiritual decisions, and really break patterns, break habits, stop looping. I feel like there's a really good feedback loop for Aries about how relationships have gone, especially over the last 19 years, 18 years since the last solar eclipse with the South Node in Libra. And I think that there's just a lot for you to build on right now, and to take everything you've learned from and really make responsible, good choices that can bring really healthy mergers into your life for long-term situations, for partnerships, for just working with others in general and working with maybe the general public, society, your jobs. There's just ways that you can be an Aries in a really healthy ego and in a really a really positive leader role, but it's like you have to lead by example right now, and you can't like let emotions get the best of you or hold on too tightly to situations, not let go of people. If things are trying to leave, they're leaving for a reason, because the contract of that relationship is up. And I think that you need to find surrender and security and safety in that, because there's a lot of healing with Jupiter in the sextile to Chiron in your first. Like your mental attitude, even with Mercury in this eclipse, your mental attitude about how you interact and relate with others, or what's going on with the world, or what's going on with people, and how you choose to delineate your own truths and kind of delineate and forge your own story, is where the healing is going to come from. Or you can feel overwhelmed by people and just feel like you're getting picked on, and you're not you're not getting what you want, and are you going to cry about that? Like, no. So this is definitely a good reminder, like, be strong, accept. You have to accept people for who they are. You're not here to change or manipulate people to fit some kind of identity that you want them to have. But what you are here to do is to fit the role of the identity that you're meant to have, and to uphold that identity and be strong and secure in that, and be emotionally sound and emotionally resilient and make good decisions. And when you do that, you're going to start to see really positive relationships grow in your life, whether it's a relationship to whatever it might be. But it kind of starts with you realizing that you can't just invest in every little thing with every person, or try and overpower people to get what you might want, and to force investment. Like, you need to be in a flow with where the return's going to come in your life. And that flow starts with you and your relationship to yourself. And that's even Uranus in your second with Algol and its Ceci quadrant. This energy of the eclipse, because you have to be unique. You have to be able to take care of yourself right now. And people that are meant to be in your life will be in your life, and people that aren't, they're going to try and free themselves. You're going to try and free yourself. Venus in your eighth doesn't want that to happen in Scorpio. It wants you to be like stuck for life and try to like withhold something to get what you want, or show something to, impress people. You just need to impress yourself by really caring for yourself, doing the best things spiritually for yourself, doing the best things emotionally for yourself, and just completely taking the reins of how you're going to identify and move forward in your life. And you need to know that that's what's going to form the best relationships moving forward. And you want to be as okay with that as you can be right now. Or it's going to feel like things are getting ripped away from you. People are getting ripped away from you. And you're going to wonder why. And you're going to put blame on others. And the truth is not somebody else's fault. One, we're with the nodes here. We're in eclipse season. Like, this is fate times. Like, this is where contracts start and contracts expire. And we're in between worlds. And some of it's just all above our pay grade. And you have to like accept that. There's a bigger plan. And see what can come in if you trust and surrender and just feel good about yourself and focus on the environments and the truths that are expanding in your world. How to deliver your message from a healed ego so that you can have better conversations, better negotiations. That's what it's all about for you right now, Aries. We're going to do Taurus. These are going to be hard for me. I've been talking a lot lately, and my throat just is like, I don't know, telling me to shut up, maybe. Anyways, speaking of Taurus, that rules the throat chakra. So, Taurus it is. All right, you got a sixth house solar eclipse with the south node. So this is going to be a lot of relationship to health stuff with you. This is going to be, of course, dealing with relationships in your life, but more about the things that you put in your body, your relationship to how busy you are to the things that are bringing stress into your life. So it's a very interesting thing. It's like wanting to do more or be more active or more, a part of a community even, but building, but wanting to like work for something and some service and energy, like, how you can help and heal people and yourself. But you got to be very like conscious right now, like of how you are taking care of yourself. Are you eating the right things? Are you taking time with the North Node and Chiron in your 12th house to surrender and drop the stress? Or are you letting the burden of stress be this, primary relationship in your life? So what is your relationship like with stress right now? What's what's your relationship like with your day-to-day life? Your routines, the things that you do day in and day out, are they healthy relationships? Are they in alignment? Are they pure? Are they balanced? And I think that you're going to want to take some quiet time and like figure that stuff out. Like this is like a good time to really chill for a little bit and meditate on things so that you can see what really is a stress in life that doesn't need to be a part of your life. So it's almost like you put too much on the scales up into this point, and you got to take some off somewhere to get things back into alignment. Like you can't put too much on your plate, or you're just going to be, setting yourself up for, whether it's just overly self-critical, like you're feeling like you can't get it enough done or something because there's too much, or a really like unsaturated sensation of like trying to find perfection within, whether it's again relationship dynamics with others, but also just on yourself. And even like the self-critical stuff, like that stuff, a lot of this stuff's got to change. So you need to like realize perfection and beauty is not obtainable all the time, and you have to be okay with that and realize that life is a practice and life is work, and we're constantly practicing and working to improve and be better, and that nothing has to happen immediately, and that it's not going to be perfect all the time, and people are not going to be perfect all the time. And you can judge and be critical of others and, think less of yourself or others all you want, but is that really going to help you? So you're in a place right now where you got to pay some good attention to like, one, just letting things go. Stop getting so mentally trapped, because I feel like this could be a time where you're really like mentally engaged in so many things, and you have to ask how trivial these things are in your life, and if they are important, if they're worth purifying, if they're worth building routine and structure around in your life. And they may not. But of course you have Venus, your ruling planet, in your 7th house in Scorpio, which does bring up, people and relationships. So, with a South Node solar eclipse in Libra and Venus dispositing that and being your ruling planet, like, how critical are you being on others too? And are you, is it necessary? Do you need to just chill out? And I think for Taurus, like a lot of it right now is just chill out a little bit. Just calm down. Stop getting so obsessed with what people are doing, how they're doing it. I can get that you want high quality in life and from others, and you might put that on yourself in a big way and like really expect that quality and high output for yourself because you value things, and that's great. And you value others, and that's great. But if you're obsessing over like the way somebody's doing it, or if they're doing it wrong, or not the way that you would prefer, like just let it go. It's just going to cause conflict and add stress and make things harder. And you don't need to do that to yourself. And Mars is in your 3rd, and like you want to be careful with your words, because you could almost want to just strike and hit people right where it hurts. And is that really necessary? And maybe, for some situations it is, and there are things that need to be said, but do we really need to break people down, or do we really need to break ourselves down right now? And what are you breaking yourself down for? So I think there's a lot of like mental questions that, you need to like chill out and like meditate on, because you'll find the answers when you're chilled out in the moment, or if things get too stressed out, or if life's changing and day-to-day life's making changes, or partnerships are changing, and you're just going to worry and stress. It's not going to help you. You have to figure out a way to use your mind constructively, and that's going to be by not stressing. So you gotta figure out ways to just be still, and then also to be, grateful with Jupiter in your second, making good aspects to Chiron with the sextile in your 12th. Be grateful for what you have and what you've built and what you've done, and stop being so critical and even cynical a little bit. Like, you can make really, really positive changes to just everything in your day-to-day life and the service you want to provide and how you can help people and how you can relate to others, but it just stop, comparing others to yourself or yourself to others. And you need to have like a lot of faith right now in yourself that you can purify in positive and constructive ways, and like be gentle with yourself. And remember, like, self-love is a super important thing, and you need to be amplifying that presence of self-value with Jupiter in your second. And have the faith that if you quiet things down in the 12th house, it's going to be better. You don't have to put so much on your plate and make things harder than they need to be, or get emotionally and mentally triggered. Like, it's okay to chill out, And, Saturn in your 11th is like, you got to work with others. You got to play well with others right now. You need to be a unique version of yourself, and you need to be an authority in your life. But, other people have authority of their life too. And you don't have to control situations or make people do what, you think is the way or what's pure. Like, let everybody have their values too and their uniqueness, and try to work with people. I think when you're able to work with people in a very emotionally and openly connected way, without all these mental, just little nitpicky things, but more from a much more pure spiritual, like, caring place, watch all the cool things you can build. Watch all the cool things that can come, and all the great relationships and people that you'll meet. And people will be more magnetically attracted to you when, they walk up and they're not getting hassled about some little thing. Like, why'd you wear white after Labor Day? Like, nobody cares. Stop nitpicking little weird things, okay? It'll make your life better. It'll make your relationships better. And it'll overall just provide you with a more pure day-to-day life. Gemini, 5th house, lunar eclipse. Okay, Gemini. So this is interesting, dealing with, of course, an ego house, the 5th house, an identity house, but one where we are able to really creatively produce from our ego, where we understand our powers, where we can manifest and, really put things into existence because we have love for it. There's a understanding and identification of it. It's the house of joy and happiness, children. So what is up with your relationship with a South Node Libra eclipse? The relationship to your ego that wants to create life. And why are you feeling maybe a lack of inspiration sometimes? I think you need to look at yourself very well right now and try to come to some understandings about how you can be more creatively expressive, and how you can stop maybe, falling into traps that are not, making your heart happy too. Like, this is kind of like a weird relationship to self thing. But there's also, of course, the North Node and Chiron in your 11th, which deals with people, and it deals with realizing how special everybody is, and that it's not just about how special you are too. But when you're able to create life from a special place and find happiness within yourself and your soul, it's really easy to balance that and appreciate the happiness in someone else's life and appreciate how to connect on a heart-based, way. And I think that that's an important thing for you right now with your ruling planet, part of this eclipse with Mercury, that this is definitely about finding more of a one-sided way. Like, instead of maybe being a little flippy floppy, which is a natural trait for Geminis, to kind of like really fixate on how to bring more balance and alignment into your life by doing things that you want to do, by feeling special again, and by doing what makes your heart happy. And like, it's almost like maybe there was some moments where that's been forgotten. And I think that something positive about this for Gemini is like remembering, like, you want to do the things that make your heart happy, so you're not cynical, so you're not just feeling bleh. And then connecting that with others and like the people in your life and community, and how you can share your art, share your, whatever you're trying to create or show in life, and like share it happily with others and let other people have the limelight. So it's an interesting thing where it's like you need to find your limelight again. You need to get out of like a just me perspective, but you also need to be in that me energy so that you can find your own happiness. But it's not about showing off. It's not about, that. It's kind of like feeling really confident in your ability to be what you are in this life. So confident that you're so happy to see other people express and be themselves. And that you're able to identify the unique traits within yourself. And you know what? If there's anything that's like keeping Gemini scared right now, this is a good opportunity to release fear and really just find a new balance and a new relationship with courage. And that courage can connect you to so many amazing people in life, and so many like really interesting, inventive avenues where you can put your creative light to the test and to put it on display, but on display in a way that, is good for everybody, not just you, but it's good for you too. So it's interesting. What's good for you is good for everybody, but you don't want to put the focus just on yourself right now. You want to be able to share the spotlight. Venus is in your 6th in Scorpio. So that's a hard position to have Venus for you, Gemini. It's a detriment Venus in a house that is like a falled house for Venus. So I think that there's a lot of like maybe stresses and stuff in day-to-day life, and maybe with relationships and people, and maybe your work life, and it's feeling like, maybe you're starting to see things very clearly, and like you're realizing like you don't have a lot of control over certain things right now, and you don't have to control every situation. You just need to find happiness again in your heart and connect it with others, and it's going to wash away stress. It's going to make life better. It's going to make you feel healthier, more vibrant. And this is, I think, an eclipse to really bring vibrance back to Gemini. Like overall, this is like, let's get some more vibrance back in there. But there's certain things that you're doing day to day that are stopping you from being vibrant. And we all do this from time to time, but like, let's start to realize these things and invent ways out. Saturn's in your 10th, making good aspects to Venus, good aspects to Mars. In these Earth, houses, the 2nd, the 6th, and the 10th, in water signs. So like the receptivity to the life that you can create for yourself is really high right now. But you have to make sure you're relating with life in a way that is encompassing the bigger picture and all things and all people, and not just making it about your story. And I think that that's important, and Jupiter's in your 1st, sextile Chiron in your 11th, and the story that you create for yourself right now has to involve people. You know, it's got to involve good connections and good friends and people that got your back and people that appreciate your creativity and people that appreciate your shine, and you got to appreciate theirs. And I think there can be a really healthy relationship, and you also want to be, you know, a strong individual. And remember that it is your story, but your story just, it's not just you in the story. There's always other characters in the story. And it's not like who's the main character. Obviously, you're the main character of your story, but like the supporting roles in your life are important because they're going to help you get to a better future and help you understand more of your creative powers and potential. And I think you need to figure out the relationship with how you show the creative power within you and showing that it can encompass more than just you. And there's so much more that you can accomplish when you share well with others and play well with others. And definitely try not to stress right now, because I feel like you're in a place where there could be, with this Venus in the 6th, like it's kind of a hard place to have it. Like there could be a lot of self-doubt. And you could feel like people don't have your back, but they do. They're just showing you a reflection of yourself too. Of like how your own ego right now can be overinflated, and not in a good way, in a way that's a detriment to your power. So I like this for Geminis because I think this is showing that you can really reinvent ways in your life right now to not stress or be in fear, but to find courage to be the most unique version of yourself and relate that in really beautiful ways. But in some ways, the focus, you know, has to be on like yourself and how you can, you know, have better connections and relationships, and what are the changes in your own ego that need to be made so that you can purify that energy. All right, Cancer, 4th house, solar eclipse. Very Cancerian energy for you. Definitely dealing a lot with family relationships, whether it's the family you were born into or family you created on your own. Homes. This is a very interesting time for the home life, just whether it's the actual house you live in. Definitely some, you know, changes, almost like renovations need to be made. There's energy that's gotta go for one reason or another, or even things where it's like, well, what's your relationship like with work? With the North Node and Chiron in your 10th house, and your goals and your ambitions. Are you staying behind the scenes too much and just kicking it at home? Have you been being too lazy? Do you have a lot of goals and ambitions, but are you just not willing to put the work and the effort in? Because maybe there's an insecurity, or you're feeling a little like, I don't know. You know, what's going on internally and what's going on emotionally right now, and why are you not going after it? So Cancer's kind of got to like realize that their relationship to being comfortable and secure and feeling good, like that's a good thing to have that, but sometimes you got to push yourself. And sometimes you got to get out of your own comforts and strive for something and work and identify with a goal and achieve it, and not give up because of a sensitivity that might show up. Maybe it's a sensitivity with home life. Maybe it's just something internal right now that you're like, you got to figure out what's holding you back from getting higher in life right now. And that's what the 10th house is in the polarity of this for. So it's interesting. Mars is in your 1st house, which is definitely giving you some good energy right now. So I feel like there is something about Mars squaring here which can be a big ally for you. But it's not going to be a good ally for you if you just take initiative to, you know, slack off and like think that that's going to bring more of what you want in, or more justice into your life. I feel like you need to remember like to put effort in right now. So what's going to bring more security into your life? What's going to bring more comfort into your life? It's your effort. It's you identifying with what you want and feeling emotionally charged by what you want and going after it. And I love that Venus is in your fifth house. I think that's great for you because this can give you a really good opportunity to have even more energy to create beautiful things in life and to show the beautiful, things that you have inside of you. But you have to be willing to like step out and have the courage to show it and not like hide it. That's even, Venus and Scorpio in your fifth. Like, are you going to hide some of your like talents and gifts and capacities right now? So I think Cancers have to really like step out of the cocoon a little bit and like put a little risk on the table and then feel lucky about that risk. And you have Jupiter in your 12th, which oftentimes I feel like when Jupiter's transiting the 12th, like it's hard. It's not an easy transit, but there is something divine and special about it where you do sort of have angels on your shoulder and like you're gonna be taken care of. It's like there's a lot of change that takes place in that year that Jupiter's in our 12th. And it can feel like overwhelming, especially mixed with, home life situations, family situations, deep emotional situations. We got to get all these in alignment for you. And the only way to do that is for you to take authority for yourself, your life, and to have courage right now and to put yourself out there a little bit. And sometimes it might have to be an intense thing, and sometimes it won't. But it's just about striving to make things better and to purify and to not have an unhealthy relationship with even like work ethic. Like that's another thing too. So pretty cool. Saturn's in your ninth, making good aspects here. It's just a really good opportunity to expand. But it's like it's not going to expand by doing nothing. Like Saturn's in your ninth, like, cool. We can journey, we can expand, but you have to earn it. You have to work hard for it. Nothing kind of comes easy, so it's like, don't be afraid to put that effort in. Don't be afraid to push boundaries in your life. If you're shrinking your world right now, I would advise you to try to work a little harder to expand the world, to expand what you can do, and to expand your goals and what you can achieve, and to put energy into something other than just, even if it's just sitting with emotion. You need to do something with your feelings. So this is a great opportunity, I think, to build a really good foundation, to let things go that are not emotionally in alignment, to be aware of what your emotions are, but to do something. You have to do something about it. And it could be happen. It could happen because of these fated times. It could happen like things to homes. Certain things can just change. The drop of a hat. Family dynamics can happen. And this is where you're kind of being like asked, like, let's step up, Cancer. Let's take care of some business. Let's be responsible. We can't just be a caretaker for everybody all the time. Like, we got to go out and like go after something important to us. And maybe it is, more caretaking with other people. Maybe that is the mission for you. But you got to go be out there and helping then. So I like where things are at in a way, because I feel like you can't really escape this one. Like you're seeing that there's a big purpose for you. And that it's just not all about being secure in the moment. Like sometimes you have to push boundaries, and sometimes you have to like get into uncomfortable situations for growth. And you want to be like mature enough to do that and to take, every step up the mountain necessary, even though you're getting pretty high up there and it might be pretty scary when you look down. So there's like a whole new inner working to the way that you relate to yourself and you relate to your goals and your families and what you do on your personal time? And is it, does it feel good? Does it feel like you're creating the life that is really showing your creative powers and potentials? And is it building good relationships? And especially a relationship to yourself. And if not, you want to be pretty real about that with yourself. And don't hold on or be afraid of letting go of things. You definitely want to have courage to grow. And sometimes it feels like contraction creates the growth necessary. And there could be a little bit of that. But think about all the relationships in the foundation in the personal life for you. And are they supporting a vision and a goal that you want to achieve in life? Something you identify with. Really important that they do. And if they don't, that's a difficult one, and that's where this is, kind of a hard time for Cancers. It's for the best. It's for the best. That's the thing, though. But it's definitely an emotional one. Leo, third house, solar eclipse. Well, very heady, Leo. Definitely a lot's going on mentally. But there's a relationship here to your mind that's interesting. Certain ways that you think, certain truths that you have, subjective truths. The way you relate and communicate those truths to others. The way you listen to others. Definitely some things are going to have to shift a little bit there. And either you're going to have to find your bigger truth and kind of stop dabbling so much in a bunch of little truths, but remember the big journey, the big vision, the real, North Star in your life, what's really taking you farther, because I feel like a lot of the little stuff can be really trivial right now with Mercury there and solar eclipse and Lilith there. Like, how trivial is your mind about all these little truths, about all these little facts, all these little this and that? And are your facts actually right? And is some of it not about like a linear fact where you can get some receipt or some truth for it and prove it? But is it more about a bigger fact and a bigger belief for you right now? So I think you almost have to drop like the little things and try to get back to the big picture and what's expanding and growing. Because it's so it's so mentally stimulating right now. It's like, what is your relationship like to your thoughts? What's your relationship like when you're expressing and communicating with people? Do people like to listen? Does it rub people the wrong way? Do you like to listen to others? Do other people rub you the wrong way? You gotta, there's recalibration of a lot of the ways that the mind works and expresses itself. So you gotta, maybe find the bigger picture and stop focusing on the little trivial things, because it can bring a lot of mental stress. And maybe this is about getting out of anxieties and mental stresses, because there's a million different facts in this world and you can search for all of them. And that's great. And you can prove yourself time and time again. Cool. But is it actually satisfying? Do you feel like it's part of the bigger journey? And does it align with your really, special truth? Your universal truths? Something that really resonates with the soul. And I think also, remembering too, intuition's a powerful thing. And the ninth house is a very intuitive house. So a lot of the linear stuff is trivial, and I think that you need to tap into the real big stuff. The real big picture stuff, and be able to zoom out. And I think that'll give you a better, more clear head, and give you a better way to really, be of service and teach and express messages And I think that that's where you're going to see a lot of changes here. It's just a new way of sort of relating to the way you think and the way you process truth, and looking more at the bigger picture, letting others sort of have their big picture too. So Mars is in your 12th, square that energy. It's exhausting. I don't know. I feel like this is very mentally just taxing for Leo right now. There's a million things to have anxiety and stress about, to just or have an overworked mind, or being or like searching for overstimulation. And I don't know, you gotta be careful about how much you're taxing your mind right now, and like just tap in. I feel like universal truth and just wisdom is just right there for you to grab right now, or maybe even like wanting to study a little bit more philosophies, or spiritual teachings. I feel like it's all right there for you, but you like the little stuff is just you have a weird relationship with it right now, and like maybe wanting to be right or like prove things, and you need to remember bigger, like Leos have to remember bigger pictures right now, and they're going to be able to deliver information much more powerfully, much stronger, in a more beautiful way, in a more negotiative way. Yeah, just be able to be more oh, I dropped frames. God, why do I always miss this word? I always want to say the really wrong word, which is dictator, because that's not what I wanted to say. And then I go to like delegate. So funny. Anyways, it's when you're kind of like a negotiator, but you're more political about it. And I just can't remember the words. So what? But yeah, Jupiter in the 11th. I think expanding truth and being able to give that message to others in a way that everybody can digest and process is the ticket. Being able to express the way that you and you truly think, but in a way that's more easily digestible for others, so that it's more like more objective, and not as subjective. Because sometimes the subjective can come off as the people that are trying to receive the message. So I think you want to like come off a little bit more gentle, a little bit more objective, see bigger pictures, bigger truths. I think that'll be really helpful. And of course, Venus is in your 4th, Saturn's in your 8th. They're in that grand trine with Mars. So they're, stacked up in these water houses here, and I think that it's emotionally trying, and that there's certain boundaries that are important, and there's certain boundaries that are maybe a little bit too obsessed over. Certain emotions get obsessed over a little bit too much, and there needs to be some kind of identification of where surrender can take place, so that you can see all angles a little bit better and not just be so focused on your angle. And I think that that's where it's at for Leo right now, is just a nice little adjustment of being a little bit more soft and a little bit more open and objective to what people are up to, and how to see and appreciate that expansion in others and also yourself. It's interesting with Pluto getting ready to come into your 7th for a long time. This is kind of like a big one about how you relate with others, and this is kind of like a big setup point. I'm dropping frames like a mother. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes the internet's shoddy here for some reason. Sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. Anyways, Leo, it's important for, I think, you to realize the way that you express truth matters. Even if you have the facts, like there's bigger ways and more objectified ways and more freeing ways for everybody to express certain things. Virgo, second house. All right, Virgo. Well, you're definitely I feel like this is about like weird insecurities for you. Little self-doubts, things that are throwing off your day-to-day life and your capacities and it's like things it's a lot of it for you is more relationship to self than a lot of the other signs. Like the way you talk to yourself, treat yourself, act on things that you want to do, your relationships with money, it's all a reflection of your self-worth. And Virgo can be so hard and critical of themselves. And I think this is important to like be a little bit more gentle and feel good about yourself. You got to stop being so hard on yourself that you just break yourself down because there's this masochistic energy with Virgo that wants to just it almost likes the pain of being so on it about what's not perfect. And it's not all about being perfect. Like this is just about like you got to have a better relationship with yourself that's based on love, that's based on being actually fair with yourself and not like some false sense of fairness. Like I feel like Virgos want to like give themselves like the worst ruling ever. So a new relationship to yourself and to your capacities and to your values is going to help so many physical manifestations all the way to just feeling so much better. So you got to you got to get over some of the stuff that are insecurities and that are holding you back. Because with the North Node and Chiron in your 8th house, like you got to like stop being afraid of not being perfect and like get out there and merge with other people. You know, get out there and explore the depths and like what can go on and how to really like connect with people on an intimate level. But it's hard to connect with people on an intimate level when you're like having weird relationship problems with yourself and insecurities that are nobody would even know about you if you didn't they're just you. So it's interesting about the things you have to like figure out within yourself right now, and Mercury, your ruling planet's right there in the mix with this. So I do think that like yeah, there's a lot of things in life that can make you feel a little bit, less than at some moments, and maybe it has to do a lot with monetary, situations in life, maybe not. Maybe it has to do with, self-appearance, looks. Nobody's perfect. Nobody looks perfect. And the quest to look perfect, like, look at people who try that quest for a perfect body or face or shape or something. It doesn't really work out. There's no such thing. So I think Virgos are just, you got to have a better relationship to yourself. You got to release the stuff that makes you insecure so that you can have more intimacy with others and more sharing and more openness and go deeper and like stop being, set back by some little thing that you told yourself. Like this is weird stories. I feel like that even with Jupiter in your 10th, like stories that you've like really dedicated yourself to that are no longer true. I think that's the healing point too in the 8th house is like you got to empower yourself right now to see how great you are and to see how many things you can accomplish and how much power you can pull right now and how much beauty you can pull when you are with others. So there's a lot that Virgos can accomplish right now. I don't dislike this. I feel like this is just a great opportunity for Virgo to like just be nice to themselves and love themselves and have a better relationship with themselves and stop being so harsh. Pluto's going to come into your 6th here. I feel like if you don't dial this stuff in now, like it's just going to be a really stressful time for the next 20 years. And it doesn't have to be. This can be where some of your best work gets done, like your life's work. Some of the best things that you find about how you can really be of service and help people and do what you came here to do. But you got to feel secure within yourself and stop telling yourself stories that you're not enough or being too hard or critical. It's like a big like internal makeover. And Venus is in your third, so I mean, I think that can help you express yourself to others, but you have to like want to. You have to want to have those talks and communicate your values and communicate what would bring more balance into your life. So don't be afraid of having deep talks about what you need. Don't be it's just not a time to be scared or frightened that you're not going to have enough. You're going to have enough. But you have to know that within yourself and believe that and know that you'll always have it. And Mars in your 11th in that grand trine with Saturn, your 7th. I think that this is important for, of course, people and relationships in your life right now. Because you can't stay in situations that, one, are not bringing value into your life. And Saturn in your 7th is like, well, you better make good decisions right now. It's pretty obvious, like, who's good for you and who isn't. Are you going to let other people with this eclipse, bring you down and take you down a notch? So maybe you're good with yourself, but are other people, bringing you down? Don't let other people bring you down either. There is a purification that needs to happen always. And that's where some of the transformation can happen in the 8th house is like, need to understand your vision, your mission. They need to understand you on a deep level. And they need to support you and be someone that's like, you got this. And someone that's a really good supporting role. Those are all the people in your life that are going to be great. And the people in life right now that are trying to push you out, not show up for you. Yeah, be careful of those, because they're just like little mirrors right now. They're self-worth traps where, you could take too much on yourself and think that you're less than. And for you right now, actually, you need to stop thinking you're less than and be really honest about all the great qualities and capacities you have to make some really big things happen in your life. The most potent connections and potent tribe energy, be able to really express from a deep place what you want to get out of life. Sorry, everything's cutting out. Nothing I can do except maybe wait for it to come back. I think we're back. The last few lives have gone so good. I did try one live, a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I had these problems. And I did reset the router before I started because I like to do that just to make sure. But it kind of sucks that I only got halfway through. I don't know if the quality's good enough to keep going, guys. I'm not sure, and I don't have a lot of time today. Is it going good? I see you in the chat. Let me know. Is it like dropping a lot? I know it's at the moment it's running good, but now it's dropping. And if you guys can't hear it, it's not really worth doing. Working fine? Okay. All right. I'll just forget about it and keep going. All right, Libra. First house. Very interesting how everything's always flipped for the Libras, right? That's why it's always about finding balance. So, collectively, it's about relationships and other people, and for you, it's very much about yourself. And finding, new ways to relate to yourself, and really finding who you are, and releasing in some ways the need to build an identity based on a relationship, but to really build a relationship to your identity and who you are, and to build it with powerful people that know who they are. And I mean powerful just like that they know who they are, and that you have an identity and they have an identity, and that's a beautiful thing. But I do think, you got to be careful about like what identity you're running right now, Libra. Like, is it truly yours? Because if it's not yours and it's someone else's, you're going to feel like there's like an ego death. And maybe there's supposed to be an ego death with this lunar eclipse, like you're going to have to find who you really are, and that's a lifelong quest for Libra many times. And sometimes your true identity is to be in an identity with someone else, and sometimes it's not. And you're going to have to sit with yourself and figure that out. What identity do I have right now? Is it my identity, or is it somebody that I'm connected to, somebody that I'm dating, relating, a family member, a coworker? It doesn't really matter. But what's up with that? What's up with the identity you've chosen to build an ego around? Because if it's not yours, it's probably not going to stay. So you have to be okay with like the changes that you're going to make within yourself. And I think that that's really cool too, because you can find yourself deeper right now and find a new way to express yourself and be yourself and identify with yourself, which is just going to make relating with other people even better. So, and that's what a lot of the North Node stuff in Chiron is. And you're going to have better relationships by having a stronger version of yourself that's more based in who you are. Mars is in your 10th, square this energy. I like Mars in the 10th for you a lot. I feel like it's your duty almost, like it's your duty and responsibility to find who you are right now. And to not just be what anybody else is, but to be you, and to find goals, and to find things that you want to achieve, and things that you're emotionally interested in that are yours. And to be able to act on those. And Venus it's in the second house in Scorpio. Now, at least for you, it likes to be in the second house of Scorpio. It doesn't like to be in Scorpio, but you also don't want to be stubborn right now and be like, no, this is perfect for me. Everything's great. Well, is it really great? Like, is it really pure? Is it really healthy? Is it actually forming a good relationship to yourself that's making you feel productive in the world, or is it something else? Is it some other thing that the world has projected or programmed onto you that's making you feel some type of way about yourself and who you are? So this is good. This is going to help you get closer and deeper with yourself and build better routines around yourself, manifest better. Overall, just give you the opportunity to really identify a lot of things that are healthy for you to relate with. And I think help you get back on your goals, get back on things, expand your life, have better relationships where it's not like just about the other person, where it's like it's about you too, and it actually balances back into your life. So there's a lot of beautiful things that can expand for you, and I think one of them is your ego and your identity and really finding yourself, because sometimes that's what happens, especially with Libra. The scales are always moving. It's the sign that's the farthest away from the ego, Aries, 180 degrees. So you learn a lot about yourself through others, but now it's time to decide, like, is that really who you are? And maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but if it's not, let it go. Let that ego die so that you can do the things that you want to do and achieve the things that you want to do and be in the relationships that you want to be in, and not just feeling like you have to for whatever reason it might be. Scorpio, 12th house. It's a big one for Scorpios. Definitely hard to have a South Node solar eclipse in the 12th house. And I think for you, like, there's a big, like, relationship with God, with your faith, with surrender that needs to be recalibrated. And it can definitely get you in some ways, Scorpio. So there's like a lot of little things here that you need to be aware of, and a lot of your own self-undoing patterns that you need to be aware of, or addictions that you need to be aware of. Sorry, lost all that bit rate for a second. So you need to be careful about what you do, you know? You need to be careful about how you escape. You don't want to escape reality right now, and like your relationship with substances is definitely in question. Your relationships with God is in question. And you're going to want to surrender to God's will in some way. God's going to let you know what's good for you. God will put you on timeout if he needs to in some way, shape or form too. So you want to be as healthy as you can right now and be really on the ball for like what's good for you, and really listening to your intuition and not trying to just peace out, but like get back into reality, get back into work, stay busy, stay mentally engaged. Don't try to escape right now. Don't keep adding, weird escape, relationships into your life, whether it's people that just pull you out of reality or substances. Like, be careful. Mars is in your ninth, one of your ruling planets, square this energy. So I think a lot of it is the relationship with faith and God and trusting. And I think knowing the bigger schematics of things and putting energy and effort into your own spiritual expansion, but not just escaping in the spiritual expansion, but really doing something with that. And Venus in your first can definitely help you do right now and bring in more and receive, but also put energy out there that can create, that can bring in monetary value, that can attract the right people into your life. And good aspects to Saturn. Of course, that grand trine. So I think that's a beautiful thing to have, is that grand trine in these firehouses of like, you got to let some things go that are just not good for you anymore, because you can really identify and find, powerful creative ways and good, relationships, and find more love in your heart and find more ways to expand and more knowledge and more wisdom in life right now. But you kind of got to be willing to just let things go. The 12th house wants to dissolve, and Scorpio, like, letting things go isn't always your favorite. Sometimes you get really good at it. Sometimes it's really hard. There's certain things that are just not healthy for you, whether it's a person, place, or thing, or a substance, or a way of thinking, a belief pattern, a belief system. You gotta like remember to find yourself, to create, to expand, and there can only be expansion when you have room for it. And you might not have room for it and you can only expand too when you're like boots on the ground on the journey, So that's the other thing, is like being present and kind of like making it happen. So don't escape life right now, Scorpio. And let things go. You don't have to hold on. If you hold on too tight, I feel like that's when this is going to be like really psychologically and emotionally challenging, and it doesn't have to be that way. You can almost be excited to like do some cleaning up around your life and have faith. And like that relationship to your faith is so important, and your spiritual practices, because it's going to help you really birth a lot of new opportunity that wants to come your way. Sagittarius, 11th house. Well, interesting. Being in the 11th house, the house of friends and ideals and innovations and individuation, can be a little rebellious, of course. This could almost be a weird thing where it's like, what are you rebelling? Like, what's your relationship like with the things that you are individuating from or rebelling from? And are you rebelling just for rebel's sake to feel some sense of freedom? Or are you really in a good situation with people? Are you in a good friend group? Is the friend group that you're in a good, healthy relationship for yourself? It's important. Because you have to remember to find yourself right now. You have to remember to be courageous. You have to remember to kind of march to the beat of your own drum in many ways. And definitely not follow suit. So there's also a thing where it's like, well, what are you doing that maybe just everybody else is doing that you built a relationship to and kind of fallen in line? And do you have the courage to get out of that and courage to rebel? And, is the vibration right with people in your life? Have you been giving too much to groups and people in your life and it's out of balance, out of alignment? You need to focus on yourself more and your creative pursuits, and like you need some limelight. So it's interesting, for you. I think it's a few things for Sag. It's definitely with your ruling planet Jupiter in good aspects to Chiron. It's of course dealing with people with Jupiter in your 7th, but like there's different ways to expand the truth of relationships, and you have to be able to like have courage and express, yourself with no filter, and show your light, and not just, step in line with something that maybe isn't a good thing for you, maybe isn't true to your your own unique sense of self. So you might need to individuate a bit from certain people or groups, and you might see groups change and friend groups change in your life a lot right now, and that's to help you find yourself more and to expand so that you can grow bigger, healthier relationships to people that are more on the vibe. So it's interesting. It's an interesting vibe check with people in your life right now, but also like what you're rebelling from and what you're rebelling for. And you're going to see like the things that are, definitely good for you and producing good creative energy, and the things that are not, and the things that are taking you out of a powerful sense of creative presence in your life and potency. And you definitely want to, let that go. Mars, Saturn, Venus in your 12th trine. So these water houses again, for you, and I think that there's a lot of like depth that you need to kind of conquer right now, and I don't think you need to like just destroy people right now and like try to prove something where you're like, I'm gonna get you right where it hurts so I can prove a point, so I can be the leader or be in charge. Like, I don't think that's gonna do it, but there's definitely ways to more intuitively understand and relate with people while simultaneously making sure that you're being, very structured within yourself to create and be who you're supposed to be right now, and to see, yes, the beauty that is around you, and that we are all here to do this together, but you have to still do it your way, and you'll find the togetherness when you do it your way. And it can be hard because there can be, with Venus in the 12th, a lot of ideals or sort of visions or fairy tales about certain people that have been in your life and certain things that you really want to hold on to and stick with, that you've already formed, strong relationships with. But sometimes you just have to identify your way out of situations because you know that they're not great. So it's like either you're getting really good depth of connection right now from people and you're feeling very secure about that, or you're definitely feeling like the vibe's off and things have got to make a shift. And it's okay to make the shift. It's okay to have courage to change things if need be. Capricorn, 10th house. Interesting, super interesting for Capricorn, right? 10th house, lunar eclipse with the south node. Career stuff, goals, legacy. What's your relationship like to your job? What's your relationship like to the thing you want to be known for? What's your relationship like to the achievements that you want to have in life? Very interesting. Like, some of it's not good. Some of it's just not meant to be. Good's the wrong word. Some of it is just like the contract's up. The contract's up. And I think that, like, it was because there was an imbalance, like either too much into one thing, too maybe hyper focused on goals, ambition, things you want to build, create, but like not putting enough effort into your personal life and into doing like that inner work to feel more secure and more safe and to get into a solid maybe situation with your home or family. All these things are very interesting, but you got to like reevaluate the relationship to some of the goals that you have. And I think that some goals are going to naturally change, and you're going to see like which ones are meant to be here and which ones aren't. And you want to be okay with that. You want to be cool with sorry. You want to be okay with your goals changing, basically. And you want to feel safe and secure for that change and that growth. And with Saturn in your third, your ruling planet, you want to be like mentally strong and stable and like responsible. And I think like see all the little facts and see all the little truths and the little analytics and like what's going on with the things that you want in life right now, because some things that you want just might not be part of the destiny, part of the journey. And can you feel secure and okay with that and identify with where things shift? And if you can, that's great. Because I think the truth will set you free in many ways. And Saturn will repay you for listening to the little truths and paying attention to the little things in your life and for working on the things that make you feel better internally without having some external validation. So that's another thing too, is like your reputation, this thing that's like using that to skip out on doing the work yourself internally. Jupiter trine or sextile Chiron from the 6th to the 4th. Definitely an interesting, thing about like I feel like there's changes coming for the career, for like getting you to where you're meant to be, getting you to the mountain, all the way up to the mountaintop. So some things are just going to be purified in life right now, and I think that you can definitely see it. And it might not be what you idealized, it might not be what you hoped for, but the truth is there. And as long as you feel secure within yourself and ready to do the work and ready to grow internally, it's just going to help you get to where you need to go. And Mars is in your 7th. Definitely activating relationships, square this energy in your 10th. The people that you're in a relationship with are definitely, and again, it could be relationships with people at work, relationships at home, relationships with partners, lovers. Definitely, you're going to see if the partnerships and the people in your life are supportive of what you're doing, because if they're not, there's going to be a lot of tension. And they're going to be really trying to help you see that changes need to be made so that you can have a better, more balanced relationship to all facets of your life. Venus in your 11th house definitely can be a good thing because it can have you looking outside the box in a different way and trying to like create and manifest in different ways and link up with unique people that can help you. So see who's like making you feel like they want to see you succeed, but they want to see you succeed not for some recognition thing. They want to see you succeed because they know it'll make you feel good, and they know that it's something that you really want. So there could be really good supporting roles right now in your life that are coming through with like really good information but you also want to take that and not be. That's where Saturn, I think, is a big deal in your third for you, Capricorn, is like really taking what other people have to say and, yeah, listen, like being a good listener right now and finding good truths so that you can take care of yourself better on an emotional level and even just like a personal life level. And the goals are going to come when you dial in that foundation more. And that foundation is going to involve everything from your family, your friends, to your partners. So you got to pay attention to that. Aquarius, ninth house, new moon, solar eclipse. Well, this is definitely trying to change the relationship you have to some kind of a belief system, Aquarius. Like you're having to kind of like go outside the box here and make sure that the wisdom that you're, spouting is true, I guess still, because it's almost like for you, the universe can almost play trick. It was like this guiding light and this all-encompassing truth and wisdom, and you might have built a really strong relationship to that, and now it's almost like switching religions, like having a relationship to Christianity and then becoming, having a relationship to Judaism, having a relationship with tropical Western astrology, and then forming a new relationship with Vedic sidereal astrology. Very interesting. Just different beliefs. So there's outdated belief systems, outdated stories too, that you can tell yourself and get all worked up on. And this is like, okay, there's new stories, new journeys. You're going to find better relationships to better wisdom and information and philosophy and beliefs and stories right now. So don't hold on super crazy tight to something. Like be okay with like different perspectives changing your mind. And that's, of course, this polarity to the third house with the North Node and Chiron. Like, it's okay when new truth presents itself to use that truth and adapt that truth. Is it still gone? I'm sorry, guys. I know it's not working. Not much I can do. I guess I'll just say what I can say. I wish I had more time this week too to do it again. I just don't. I'm sorry, I'm booked with readings in the mornings, and I have to pick Sterling up and be dad in the afternoon after school, and still put out dailies, and my apologies. I'm gonna just try and get through these, but I'm sorry. It sucks. Doesn't make me happy. That's for sure. Anyways, new belief systems, Aquarius. Big, important thing for you. Mars is in your 6th. I think you need to pay attention to information right now and be able to analyze things critically, because if you're just going on a hope, just going on some kind of a thing that doesn't have any truth, then like it needs to be based around fact right now and truth, and you need to be able to investigate these things, and it's going to be more helpful for you. So you got to let go of outdated. And I'm just going to go to Pisces, and I'm sorry, you guys. Broken. All right. Pisces, new moon, solar eclipse in your 8th house. This is very transformative, Pisces. This is definitely trying to get you, like you have relationships to different things. A lot of it could be fear related, manipulating, power struggle relationships, weird dynamics like that, deep stuff. And this is trying to get you out of those relationships. Trying to get you into more healthy, balanced relationships where there isn't some fight over control or using sex to get what you want, or, a fear of merging and being intimate at the same token. So there's a lot of like inner transformation stuff that you just got to be ready to let literally the stuff go and to purge. This is like a purge of things that are not healthy for you spiritually and psychologically, and you are going to have to really remember who you are, and you're going to have to come back to yourself and that relationship to yourself and realize that it's not all about what you're tied to in life. It's about you, and it's about you're tied to yourself always. And you have to find that again, because this is kind of like you've got lost in some kind of a power dynamic or a relationship or something that, there's power struggles here. So I feel like and it's like fears, and it's like you don't need to be scared. You need to just find your power and your capacity. Remember how beautiful and strong you are, and Saturn wants you to be on your game here in the first house and dedicate yourself and stay on it and not lose yourself. And Mars in your fifth is the same thing. Don't lose yourself here. Wants you to act on things and act on the transformation and not hold on too tightly when they don't have a good merge. When the magnet flips, let things go. Let people go. Let jobs go. Let whatever it is go. Because you're going to build better. You have all the capacity for it. But you don't want to identify with stuff right now that's really in life. It's not going to be helpful. I'm sorry, guys. Terrible live stream. Internet just said no more. So I love you guys. Wish I could have done it better. Wish the internet worked. I hope you got something out of it. I know it started off fine. So the first 6 signs are definitely going to get a horoscope, or the last, the last 8, just, I don't know. The last 6. Just not going to get it. Anyways, I got to get ready for a reading and a client, and my apologies. Appreciate you all. Have a great solar eclipse. Peace.